The local roads. The local roads are known as the Wasteland Road, the Derrybreen Road and the Ballinacil Road. The Wasteland Road leads through Derrynamooka and Loch Torrig and on into County Clare. My father does not know when the Wasteland Road was made, but he tells me my great-grandfather worked during the famine period for 2p a day on the Wasteland Road on my way to school. It was the only way that people had to travel on long ago to get to school and other places before the Wasteland Road was made, and the people used it for a short way to get to Mass. They can take bicycles on it, but no carts. This byway is called the Green Road. There is a river crossing it with stepping stones on which we passed through. The Green Road leads on to the Ballinacil Road. There is a path about 1/4 of a mile in length through the rocks and heather leading from the Ballinacil Road to the Wasteland Road. The school is situated a few yards from the Wasteland Road. Hello and welcome to this video. I thought that because you seem to like the folklore in the last 2 videos, I'll do a bit more folklore here, and I'm going to talk about stepping stones today. And as you heard in this little piece from County Galway, stepping stones can be indicators of mass paths, as it was in this case. I have tried to find this Wasteland Road, and I think I have found it. I used the Historic Environment Viewer for that, and because it is a famine road, you have to look at the map before the famine, which is the first edition. And I think it is this one here, this dotted line. And it says proposed line of road there, and this blue dot here is Loch Torrig School. So I presume they went along here somewhere. I haven't found the townland of Derrynamooka. It's not on OpenStreetMap, and it's also not on Loch Anam. So maybe it's a townland that has changed its name, but I'm not quite sure where it would be. This is all very boggy and wooded, so Derry would be oak and Namooka would be pigs, so they must have kept pigs in that wood at some point, and that's how the townland got its name, but I haven't been able to find it. Loch Torrig is Loch Torrig South and North, and that's still in use, but that's not really much use, but it does lead into County Clare. So that's one example, and the other example I have for you is from County Kilkenny, because we always have to have a Kilkenny example. But this one isn't about a mass path, but it has a religious story behind it. Old stories, St. Patrick and the Dinan. Long ago, when St. Patrick visited this district, he built his hut on the bank of the Glosha River, a large stream falling into the Dinan River, which is a tributary of the Nore. From here, he preached Christianity to the people of the surrounding districts. One day, he went walking along the banks of the River Glosha. He came across the well, now known as Tobermusha or Toberwere, and blessed it. On walking along the banks of the Glosha, he stumbled and fell. He thereupon cursed the rushes of the Glosha, the tops of which ever since have a peculiar pale, withered colour. Another day he was crossing over the Dinan to preach to the people on the far side of the river. As he was walking on the stepping stones on the ford, he slipped and cut his knee. He is supposed to have cursed the stones of the Dinan, which are slippery and dangerous ever since. So we see even old St. Patrick had trouble with health and safety, and especially in the Fascedine barony. So the Glosha River, I'm not entirely sure. There is a Glosha Gale River in County Kilkenny, which I think they're talking about. And that, I just have to find it now. So there we have the Nore and the Dinan River here. It does say that it flows into the Dinan River, which, unless there are 2 rivers with the name Glosha, which just means stream, so it is very likely, could be possible. But the other one, well, it's near Ballyragged somewhere here. So there's the Glosha Gall River, that's what it's called now in the anglicised version, but in Irish would be Glosha Gall, so the bright stream or the clear stream, and it doesn't flow into the Dinan or the Nore unless it continues on here, because this is the Ovek River, or the Ovek, because that's the Auenweg. It's the small stream, I suppose, small river. If my little Irish doesn't deceive me. So the Ovig is coming down here. It's the border between County Kilkenny and County Laois. And I don't know from this point on, is it still the Ovig or is it actually the Gloshigal? Who knows? But I asked someone locally and said, this is what I have. It's supposed to go into the Dinan River. And would you know where it is? And I have to find it. It's somewhere in Connaughey. And I got a description of where it goes, and it's all farmers' names, and I haven't a clue where all these farmers live, the Walshes and the Bergens and all that. But there was one place name which I could follow up on, and that was here somewhere, Kilcolin. And it did say in the description that it comes through Kilcolin, so I presume it's this one here. But on the old maps it's called the River Clochna. So I don't know. I thought it might be this one here. But who knows? As I said, there could be more than one stream called the Glosha because it just means stream. So this is one story, and stepping stones were very important in the past for people because if you didn't have bridges, because it's quite an effort to build a bridge, and if you don't have a landlord that needs a bridge, or if there isn't a huge demand for it, if just the poor people are using it, sure, they can do with stepping stones, or they can build footsticks, which is just a very narrow footbridge over a stream or a river, and you get them on the British War Office map. Either the footsticks is either footsticks or FS, but since this is supposed to be a video about stepping stones, you get them marked as stepping stones, and sometimes if there isn't enough room on the map, because it's paper, it's not zoomable, it's SS for stepping stones. And when I was mapping Monaghan, I'm still working on that, but I came across quite a few examples along the border between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland where there are still stepping stones in the river. I think it's the Blackwater. Again, that's one of those river names that you have all over the place because they're either black or they're clean. And I think Blackwater is usually when it comes from a bog somewhere. But there is a river Blackwater, I think it was that one. I might be wrong, it might have been the Fane. But I found two examples, and I'm going to show you with these two examples how you can map stepping stones. It's super easy to do. I'm going to show you in the idea editor, but you can also use Everydoor, the Everydoor app for it. And I suppose you could also use Osmond, but it won't snap onto the river, and that's what you want to do. They need to snap to the river. The key is ford, and the value is stepping_stones. So that's all you need. You just put a note there and add this tag. The first example I have here, it doesn't seem to want to tell me what the name of the river is. Should be here somewhere. So I'm going in with the ID editor. And I'm just going to turn the data off so you can actually see it. So this is the Esri Clarity imagery, and you can kind of see that there's something going across here. I think it was actually mapped as a weir before, but I've deleted that because I'm fairly sure it's stepping stones. Is it on Bing? It doesn't look like a weir. You would have more, like there would be more of a flowing picture if you get me. But you can see that it starts here, probably cows in the field going down to drink. But you can see this row of stones here. And on the British War Office map, to zoom out again, you see that it says stepping stones. And funnily enough, it says it on either side of the border. And it seems to do that along the border. So it's there, and there's also an altar here, some druid's altar, which we will try not to get distracted by. So I'm going back to the Bing imagery and I'm turning the data on because otherwise I can't add anything. So you just, either you put a point, click on the point at the top, and click on the river line, the waterway, where you can see the stepping stones. Of course, you can only do that in the ID editor. It's a bit more difficult in Osmond, where you don't get the satellite imagery at all, so you just have to stand there in the middle of the river mapping that. I wouldn't recommend that, especially in this weather now when everything is flooded. And in Everydoor, in that app, you can get satellite imagery. It might not be as clear as this one is. So anyway, you either choose the point at the top, or you just double click and that'll add a note. And then you can search. But you can type in Ford. If you didn't remember that it's Ford equals stepping stones, you can type in Ford, and then you have to go down and just change that to stepping stones, and the stones will autocomplete, so you don't have to think about that too much. And if you wanted to, you could also give a source, which in this case would be British War Office map and area imagery, because it's Bing and Esri and it could be on all of them. So, and that's all you have to do. We just save it then, added stepping stones. And I won't add the sources again because I've just added them to the stepping stones. And then we can upload that. And I don't know how quickly it will show that now. We'll just go to the next site and then come back to the first one. So this is in Donegal, Donegal, between Donegal and Northern Ireland. So again, you can see the row of stones there fairly clearly. And sometimes, because I went along the whole border looking for these occurrences of stepping stone. I see on this side it's only on the Republican side, the Republican stepping stones, and try to see if I could find it. See, it's actually, this was the other side down here, and we're here now. And oftentimes the riverbank is so overgrown that you can't see it. It's just under the tree cover. But these are the two sites I found when I was trying to find locations for this video. And sometimes there's only maybe 3 stones left, so I wouldn't map those because this is about 15 meters wide here. Wouldn't want to jump 3 meters from stone to stone. So only if I can actually see that they seem to be still usable, I would map them. So there is actually, well, yeah, we can use this node here and click on Ford and stepping stones and source British War Office map and area imagery. But looking for that, going along the British War Office map, going along a river trying to find them and then checking against area imagery, that's a bit like a big needle in a haystack, or, you know, a needle in a small haystack. That might not be as much fun, but if you know of any stepping stones, especially if there's some mass path story or people walking to school, it's kind of the same. I think that falls under mass paths as well. You can map those as well because they're a good indicator of these kinds of things, a bit like styles in field boundaries. There it is now. That's the sign for, the symbol for a ford. That's the first one. And the other one, which was here somewhere, has also appeared. Because I guess it's just such a small change set, it's just one node, that it doesn't take an awful long time to be rendered on the map. So these two are there now. There are the two of them there now. There and there. And I want to show you on Overpass how many there are mapped in Ireland. There is possibly a way to search for them along a boundary, but I'm not able to do that. So I'm just going to search in Ireland, and I'm just hoping that it'll bring up the ones that are on the border as well. It does. So up there, these are the two that I've just added. And these are the ones that I've added while mapping in Monaghan. It was kind of sad to see that there isn't a river all the way around. It's not always a river forming the boundary, because it kind of limited my search. But these are the ones that are on the Irish border, which I think is interesting, that you can just walk across a river. And then there are a couple in Wicklow, parts of trails probably, and I think only one in Kilkenny that I've actually walked across in Thomastown under the bridge, and the rest are in Waterford. This is actually still Kilkenny, isn't it? And they're not all mapped by me, just the ones at the border there and the one in Thomastown. And I think this one might be one in a mass path, I'm not sure. But there's some sort of a track there anyway. And just to show you how many there are in the schools collection, stepping stones, just to compare that to tunnels, 327 occurrences of stepping stones compared to the over 900 occurrences of tunnels. But I guess these stepping stones were actually there because people did actually use them, whereas people didn't really use the tunnels as much. If you don't know what I'm talking about with the tunnels, just watch the last video I made. I'll link that in the corner. Shinewil. Thank you very much for watching. Oh yeah, I think stepping stones in Irish is clochana or something like that. It's just stones. So that's it. Shinewil. Gormile Mahagov. And see you soon again. Slán go fóill.